Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome back to Civil Engineers YouTube channel. Guys, today in this important video lecture I will give you information for design of RCC column according to ACI Codes, American Concrete Institute Codes. This is why I am recording this video, design of RCC column according to ACI Codes, American Concrete Institute Codes, because many civil engineering students, they don't know the basic information for design of RCC column. So if you watch this video from start to end, then you are able to learn something new related with design of RCC column from the reference of ACI Codes, American Concrete Institute, that what should be the dia of lateral ties for RCC column, longitudinal bar dia for different longitudinal bar dia of lateral ties, okay, and also spacing for lateral ties, also spacing between longitudinal bars, and for concrete cover, but from according to ACI Codes, American Concrete Institute. So let's start, guys. First of all, I will tell you, you will have not pay for like this video. So for my motivation, first of all, you must like this video and subscribe the channel with press bell icon. Guys, press bell icon is important. That's why, because when I upload any video to this YouTube channel, you will get notification first if you subscribed with press bell icon. So therefore, must subscribe the channel with press bell icon, and don't forget to like this video for my motivation. Let's start, guys. Design of RCC column according to ACI Codes. First of all, in ACI Code 10.9.2, you can check in ACI Code this is the reference 10.9.2 for a rectangular column and circular column. What should be the minimum longitudinal bar for rectangular column or for square column? So guys, remember and keep in your mind, minimum use 4 numbers of steel bars for rectangular or for square column from the reference of ACI 10.9.2, right? Use minimum 4 numbers. For what? For rectangular and also for square column. You should not use less than 4 numbers of longitudinal bars in square or in rectangular column. The second one is, guys, in ACI Code 10.9.2 for circular column. So guys, for circular column, use minimum 6 numbers of steel bars. Use minimum 6 numbers of steel bars. Minimum use 6 numbers. For what? For circular columns, right? So this is the important, and you should know about this. If you use 4 numbers of steel bars in circular columns, so it is not a good design. So you will face more problems, especially in structure design for column, for circular column. So therefore, minimum should be 6 numbers, okay, for circular. The second one is in ACI Code, that is spacing of lateral ties. Here, guys, you can see here are 2 points. First one is 16D and the second one is 48D. As you can see, guys, this is longitudinal bars in RCC column, okay. As you can see, guys, these are called lateral ties, okay. These are lateral ties, suppose. So guys, what should be the spacing of lateral ties in RCC column? For one lateral tie center to other, what should be the spacing? So guys, here are 2 points. One is 16D and the second one is 48D. So guys, here 16D, so you can take the dia of steel for spacing, that is longitudinal bar. Longitudinal bar. Okay, so dia of longitudinal bar, this one bar, okay, if that is 16 mm, 12 mm, 20 mm, 25 mm, 32 mm, any number of steel bar if you use, so the dia should be in mm. So it should be multiplied with what? 16. When it gave you any number, so that should be the spacing of lateral ties. From one lateral ties to other lateral ties, the spacing should be longitudinal bar dia multiply with 16. Suppose if I use here, if dia of longitudinal bar is 16 mm, so guys you can find out with 16 mm. So here 16 multiply 16. Okay, so how you can get 16? So 36, 6, so it become 6, so 9, so 96 mm. Okay, so it should be 96 mm. Okay, the spacing should be 96 mm for what? For this 16 mm die of steel bar. If that is 20 mm or 24 mm or 30 mm, so it's depend on longitudinal bar dia, and it should be multiplied with 16D. Then you can find the spacing between two lateral ties from this formula. Okay, now guys, the second one is 48D. Okay, so here the D should be lateral ties dia. Okay, that should be lateral ties dia. You can take lateral ties dia. How? This one dia. For example, if that is 8 mm or 10 mm or 6 mm, so it's depend on the lateral ties dia. So lateral ties dia should be multiplied with 48D. Suppose I am using here 8 mm. Okay, if the dia of lateral tie is suppose 8 mm, okay, so 8 mm will be multiplied with what? 48D. So here 48 multiply what? D, where D is what? 8 mm. So when it gave us any number, so that should be the spacing between two lateral ties. Okay, now guys, the second code is ACI code and 7.7.1. This code is using it can give you information in ACI code with this reference: reinforcement column clear cover. Clear cover mean concrete cover. So what should be the minimum concrete cover or clear cover for RCC column, if that is circular, rectangular or square? So guys, that is not should be it should not be less than 4 centimeters. It should not be less than 4 centimeters. Okay, so this is the minimum cover. This is minimum cover. So the minimum concrete cover should not be less than 4 centimeters. So from the reference of ACI code and 7.7.1. Okay. The other one is guys ACI code 7.6.3 and also this for clear distance between reinforcement bar. Okay. That is guys 7.6.3 and also in 7.6.4 code you can find information for clear distance between reinforcement bar. As you can see guys, how? For example, this is square column, okay, and these are steel bars. Suppose these are steel bars and square column. Okay. So here guys, one steel bar and other steel bar. So what should be the minimum spacing? Here, one longitudinal bar from center to other longitudinal bar center. What should be the minimum spacing? From one steel bar to other steel bar in RCC column, what should be the minimum spacing? So in this code you can find for this. So guys, the minimum spacing for two reinforcement, especially in column longitudinal bars, spacing should not be less than what? 4 centimeters or 1.5 times of larger longitudinal bar. Larger longitudinal bar. Okay. So this is the formula by which you can find the minimum reinforcement longitudinal bar spacing. It should not be less than 4 centimeters or 1.5 times of larger longitudinal bar. Means if you use 20 mm die of steel bar in RCC column, so for that the spacing should be 30 mm. That's why, because one dia is, for example, if you want to use 20 mm dia, longitudinal bar dia, larger dia is 20 millimeter, so it should be multiplied with 1.5 times. Okay, so it become 30 centimeters, 30 mm. Okay, so 1.5 times of larger longitudinal bar. It can give us the spacing between two longitudinal bars. Okay, clear distance between, distance or spacing for longitudinal bars. Okay, now from ACI code 7.10.5.1, in this code you can find information for lateral ties for longitudinal bars. Okay, that is 32 mm longitudinal bar dia use minimum 10 mm lateral ties dia. For example, if longitudinal bar dia is 32 mm, so use minimum longitudinal bar dia, that should be 10 mm. Okay, use smaller 10 mm. Okay, or for 8 mm dia you should use for column construction. So the lateral ties dia should be for column construction, it should be 8 mm. But normally for domestic house you should not use less than 6 mm dia of steel bar. So this is from the reference of IS code, Indian Standard Code, that should be not less than from 6 mm lateral ties dia. But here in ACI codes use for column construction, lateral ties dia should be 8 mm. But if the dia of steel bar is 32 mm or smaller than 32, if that is 24, okay, or more than 24 to 32, so use minimum 10 mm dia of lateral ties. Okay, keep in your mind this point. Now guys, for spiral dia, for circular, spiral dia should not be less than 3 by 4 inches dia. Okay, so now guys, here is other point why we are using lateral ties in RCC column. So this is general information, I will guide you here. Guys, longitudinal, we are using in RCC column if that is beam, column or slab. Okay, but especially in column from ACI code. So lateral ties can hold the longitudinal bars. Okay, so especially it can work in earthquake. So it resists with earthquake and also in buckling. So therefore we should use with different spaces to the height of the column. We should provide lateral ties to hold the main reinforcement or longitudinal bars in RCC column. Okay, so guys, these are some important information especially for design of RCC column from the reference of ACI code. So therefore you should know about these points which I have discussed in front of you, because it can help you especially in interview and also on site if you don't know the clear cover, lateral ties dia, longitudinal bars and also minimum numbers of steel bars, etc. So therefore it can help you on site. So I hope you learned something from this lecture. So if you have any question related with this topic, so you can comments, I will try to reply your answer. Thanks for watching. See you in next video. Goodbye.